gotta be. There ain't no better feeling than when
What up, though, my peoples? Friendly neighborhood Highbrarian, Lewis Automatic, back with another video. But first off, let me just say this, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Old Head. I don't know if y'all know, I'm in the, you know what I'm saying? Let's just say I'm in the Metro Detroit area. You feel me? And I was coming out, you know what I'm saying, to a liquor store, you know what I'm saying, to get my leafs or whatever. And, you know what I'm saying, I was getting in my car, getting ready, you know what I'm saying, hit, you know what I'm saying, crank it up, hit the start button. And, you know what I'm saying, I seen the OG, he just walked around the front of my car. I wasn't paying no attention. This nigga walked up right to my car and he opened up the door and shit. Like, he was like, oh, shit, my bad. You know what I'm saying? I almost got shot, you know? Because his car, like, I guess I parked in his favorite spot. So I guess he had like a Freudian slip. Because, dude, he parked a whole nother way. His car was facing another direction on the other side of the parking lot. But, you know what I'm saying? All's well that ends well. Shout out to old dude, you feel me? But, you know what I'm saying? Today's book review is on, you know what I'm saying, Exactly What to Say. The Magic Words for Influence and Impact by Phil Jones. You feel me? You're going to see basically a photo of the book in the description and shit. And basically, like, or not in the description, but I'm just going to, you know what I'm saying, flash it like right now. You see it? All right. So basically, like, this book was just talking about, like, you know what I'm saying, the magic words to say, you know what I'm saying, to get people, you know what I'm saying, to do what you want them to do. So I guess it's like, it's another influence book. Like, I guess you would say more of like a sales book, a marketer's book, basically, you know what I'm saying, to give you an advantage in sales, you know. So it's probably like along the lines of some NLP, you know what I'm saying, neuro-linguistic type of shit. But let's just get straight into it. I got some notes right here because he basically gave you like 22 or 23 different, you know, phrases. And it's things that we say every day, but subconsciously or unconsciously rather, like, we don't know that we basically, you know what I'm saying, trying to get our influence on. So, you know what I'm saying, the first quote I'm gonna give you is, I'm not sure it's for you, but, you feel me? So it kind of like you're putting it out there, like you're softening the blow. And, you know, people always remember what you say after you say but. You know what I'm saying? So you can say, you know, I love, you know what I'm saying, like, I love the outfit you got on, but, you know, after you say but, people, they're not going to hear the compliments you said before. They just going to worry about what you say afterwards. So you say, I'm not sure it's for you. So it's kind of like you're giving them, you put in the indecision, like, at the beginning of the sentence. And basically, after you say but, they're going to be more in tune, you know what I'm saying, and hearing what you say after the word but type shit. So it's like, that's like a slick little way to get people, you know what I'm saying, to pay attention type shit. Because you know what I'm saying, you throwing away the inhibitions in the first part of the statement. And now it's like, you got them intrigued type shit. But the second quote is like open-minded. You feel me? What's the opposite of being open-minded? Closed-minded. So, you know what I'm saying, when you say, like, when you put it into a sentence, like, you know what I'm saying, are you open-minded? Or like, this is for open-minded people. People are going to automatically want to lean towards that because who wants to be considered closed-minded? You know what I'm saying? What's the advantage of being closed-minded? All right, next quote is, what do you know about? So a lot of times, you know, when we get into like conversations and you run into objections, our first inclination is to kind of like always want to prove yourself to be right or whatever. So one thing you could do is you just ask them, well, what do you know about it? Like, you know what I'm saying, challenge their views on it to either see how much they know or prove themselves how much they don't know. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good way. Another quote is, how would you feel if? So you say, how would you feel if? That's kind of like, you know, you kind of plead, going into like a story. It's like a storytelling, or like you going with the imagination. You feel me? Like, you know, people are feelings type of people. So it's like you could appeal to somebody's logic all you want, but when you appeal to their feeling, it's like an emotional connection type shit. So it's like, that goes into like the next quote, just imagine. You feel me? Just imagine you and I, blah, 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 whoopty whoop. Like, it's storytelling, it's story building. You want to build an image in somebody's mind. You know what I'm saying? All right, the next quote is, when would be a good time? That's a good question to ask, because basically you're assuming that there will be a good time. You know what I'm saying? Even though this is the wrong time, but when would be a good time? Meaning that subconsciously or consciously, they're saying like, okay, there will be a good time to actually discuss this or do this. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's word games. You feel me? Like, I'm guessing you haven't got around to. That's a good one. Like, basically, when you know somebody's been bullshitting, you basically, instead of asking, well, did you do this? Knowing that, and you say it, and basically, like, you know, they ain't got around to the shit. So instead of asking them with that tone in your voice, like, well, did you at least do this? You could just come out front and say, well, I guess you haven't gotten around to this, but you know what I'm saying? That's just an easier way to finesse the situation. So this next one is kind of like a swap, you know what I'm saying? Like a swap instead of like, it's like the law of assumption. Instead of asking somebody at the end of a presentation or you know what I'm saying, you give a speech and you say, well, does anybody have any questions? You know what I'm saying? You tell them, you know what I'm saying, what are your questions for me? Like you know what I'm saying? You assume that they already have questions, so you just tell them to give them your questions instead of asking, do they have any questions? You feel me? So it's like that's where the law of assumption can really work in your favor. Then you another quote is, you know what I'm saying, what's the best number to contact you at? That's, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, you don't want to give people, if you have the option to not let people reject you, you feel me? That's just a better way to ask somebody for their number. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just asking what's their number, it's like, you know what I'm saying, people might, you know what I'm saying, be like, I don't want to give this motherfucker my number, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, if you say what's the best number to contact you at, that just sounds like more professional, and it's like people are more likely to let their guard down, you know what I'm saying? As I see it, that's just another, you know what I'm saying, way to input your suggestion, you feel me? You give them like 3 different options, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could try that, you could try this way, or you could basically, you know, stand still and do nothing, you feel me? Or you could try this new way. You could try this new way that you basically gave them, you feel me? So it's like, it's all about, you know what I'm saying, controlling the narrative, controlling the conversation. So, you know what I'm saying, another one is, you know what I'm saying, what's going to be the easiest for you, basically. That could come after you ask the person 3 questions, after you describe their problems as you see it. You know what I'm saying? I hope I explained that correctly. Let me know in the comments if you need any more clarification. Of course, we all heard there's 2 types of people, you know what I'm saying? Niggas who, you know what I'm saying, getting money, and niggas who just watching niggas get money type shit. So like, when you tell a person there's 2 types of people, they automatically want to know, where do I fit into that equation type shit. So, you know what I'm saying, you could definitely use that to your advantage. I bet you're a bit like me. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know what I'm saying, a good way to put some inference, you know what I'm saying, influence the conversation by basically saying that if you're like me, you know what I'm saying, you're on the right side of this conversation. The if then technique, saying like, okay, if you do this, well then this, you know, that's something we've been programmed with since our youth. Don't worry. Don't worry has always been a good phrase, because it's like, you know, don't worry, be happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, anytime somebody says don't worry, it's like the ultimate, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like a stress, not a stress reliever, but it's like, you know, it brings relief. When somebody tells you don't worry, like if your doctor tells you don't worry, or your lawyer tells you don't worry, that just, it eases up the, you know what I'm saying, eases up the situation. So that's always going to work. Most people, well, you know, most people, not to be redundant, they don't want to be left out. So you say, if this is how most people do it, and they think that, you know, so they would, obviously they want to be like most people. They see most people have been able to get a house doing this way. That's how they want to do it. They want to, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's just that bias, that confirmation bias. You know what I'm saying? Once they see somebody else doing it, then they want it. You know what I'm saying? So when you can sell it to them that this is how most people do it, well, you know what I'm saying, people want to be associated with most people. You know what I'm saying? The good news is just another great way to frame the argument, you know what I'm saying, to frame your points, to get your point across. And, you know what I'm saying, you could ease the blow, or you could even reframe, not saying refrain, but you can kind of reframe the positioning that, you know what I'm saying, somebody might have on a certain issue, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a positive and negative. The good news is, you know what I'm saying, like, whether they say something bad or good, you could use that phrase basically to, you know what I'm saying, still control the narrative and get the results that you want. What happens next is, all right, that's a quote. What happens next is, you know what I'm saying, that's just something that you could say as like, to give, you know what I'm saying, orders for the next thing to do. Like, a lot of times people, like, they get stuck, you know what I'm saying, they don't know how to complete the mission, or they don't know what the next step is. So when you say what happens next is, you basically, you controlling the future shit. What makes you say that? That's just another way how you deal with deflections, and, you know what I'm saying, just getting a good understanding. You know what I'm saying, as Andre Taylor, you know what I'm saying, says famously, revelation is in the why. So there you have it. If I can and will you, just, you know what I'm saying, if I can, blah, 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 will you do this? So it's like, that's another set of words, you know what I'm saying, phrases that we've just been accustomed to, we've been programmed with, imprinted with. So we just used to saying, if I can, will, you know what I'm saying? That's just a good way to frame your arguments, or frame your conversations, you know what I'm saying? Enough. Now, the word enough is basically used, you know, there's never enough, you know what I'm saying? There's never enough. So you say like, well, will you have enough of this or such and such of that? You know what I'm saying? that's just one to check out, you feel me? Just one more thing, like the author he used, like I never watched what was it, Columbo? I think that was the name of the show. It was like the detective show Columbo. And he was, I guess that was just something that he would always save at the end, just one more thing before he, you know what I'm saying? That's just like I guess that's like a cliffhanger type shit, you feel me? A favor. Now, like the thing about asking for a favor is it's all about, you know what I'm saying, the proper timing and shit. At the right timing, you know what I'm saying, right after you've done something for somebody, you know what I'm saying, you got them in the jovial spirit and, you know what I'm saying, the good mood. After you, especially after you know what I'm saying, did something for them that was meaningful, that's the perfect time to ask for a favor. You know what I'm saying? That was the perfect time you can use your influence, you know, to get what you want. And another phrase is just out of curiosity. You know, that's just something that, you know what I'm saying, it sparks interest. You know what I'm saying? People, you know what I'm saying, just out of curiosity, you know what I'm saying, people are just more apt to be, you know what I'm saying, they're just apt to be more receptive to, you know what I'm saying, what you got to say type shit. But like I said, you know what I'm saying, these are just the phrases that was used, you know what I'm saying. I feel like this is a good book basically for, you know what I'm saying, if you in sales or the dating market. And the reason why I say the dating market is because, you know, you basically selling yourself, you know what I'm saying, on a date, or you try to maintain a relationship. That's if you're maintaining a relationship, I feel like that's like you in the constant business of selling yourself. You know what I'm saying? Showing that you're marketable and you have value. That's what I guess they call it sexual marketplace value type shit. So it's like, you know what I'm saying, you constantly selling yourself. You know what I'm saying? I once heard that everything is about sex except sex. You feel me? So you're always going to be you have to convince your partner that you a good catch. You feel me? Not just to get them, but to have them and maintain them. Because, you know what I'm saying, people gonna always get used to you. You feel me? Even in business, you feel me? You have to constantly reinvent yourself. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to reinvent the wheel being here. You just have to reinvent yourself. You feel me? And there's different archetypes and shit that you could tap into. So I guess, you know what I'm saying, this is more like the sleuthy, you know what I'm saying, not skeezy, but you know what I'm saying, just more, you know what I'm saying, sleuthy salesman, you know what I'm saying? It's like some stealth shit, you feel me? Like at the end of the day, they talk about, you know what I'm saying, words or spells, you feel me? So you want to cast positive spells. You want to have, you know what I'm saying, good rapport, you know what I'm saying? Basically, like everything we do has meaning, but oftentimes we just use words in conversation and we just say things with no real intent or purpose, you feel me? So like basically, I would say that using these words and these phrases is about having the right intent, and like everything you say has a, you know what I'm saying, cause and effect. And you know what I'm saying, these are the best, you know what I'm saying, ways to get what you want. So hey man, sure. Favorite neighborhood Highbrarian, you know what I'm saying, Lewis Automatic. You know what I'm saying, this shit's on fire, I ain't gonna lie, nigga. But hey man, we out.